So let's talk about one of Japan's most deeply unsettling urban legends. It's a story that starts with something really sweet, a brother's love for a sister, but it twists and ends in decades of absolute terror. And it all revolves around one single, seemingly innocent doll. We're going to dive into the haunting of the Okiku doll.
And that's really the question at the heart of this entire story, isn't it? I mean, we think of dolls as these companions for kids, symbols of comfort and love. But the Suzuki family's experience, well, it makes you ask a pretty horrifying question. What happens when that love, that bond, gets twisted into something else entirely?
All right, so to really understand what happened, we have to go back to the beginning. And the story doesn't start with ghosts or anything scary. It starts with love in Japan, all the way back in 1918.
Okay, so let me introduce you to the Suzuki family. You've got Eikichi, he's 17, and his little sister, Kikuko, who's just 3 years old. Now, they didn't have a lot of money, they were a poor family for sure, but what they did have was a lot of love for each other. They were incredibly close. So as Kikuko's 4th birthday was coming up, she had her heart set on just one thing. She wanted a doll that could be her very best friend. But for her parents, who were really struggling just to get by, even a simple toy like that was a luxury they just couldn't afford. They had to tell her no.
Well, Aikachi just couldn't stand seeing his little sister so heartbroken, so for a whole month he took on every odd job he could find, saving up every single penny. And then he saw it. In a little shop window, he found this beautiful, traditional Japanese doll. It had a little red kimono, black hair cut neatly to its neck, and these deep, dark eyes that almost seemed alive. He knew right then and there that was the one.
And just like that, the doll was a part of their lives. What started out as this perfect, loving gift was about to create a bond that, well, a bond that would go far beyond death itself.
When Kikuko opened that present, she was just over the moon, absolutely overjoyed. She immediately named the doll Okiku. Okiko went everywhere with her, she slept with it every single night, they were completely inseparable. Kikuko would talk to it for hours, comb its hair. Okiko really was the best friend she had always dreamed of.
But, and this is where things take a truly heartbreaking turn, this happiness didn't last. One day, little Kikuko got incredibly sick with a bad case of malaria, and as she was fighting for her life, she never, ever let go of Okiku. She was holding that doll right up until her very last breath. And then, she was gone.
In the middle of all their grief, the family decided to put the Okiku doll on a small shelf in their home, sort of like a memorial to their daughter. And it's right here that the story shifts into something dark, something totally inexplicable.
You know, at first it was small things you might try to explain away. Eikichi would hear what sounded like his sister's faint laughter in the hallway at night. Then his parents started hearing it too. Then they all started having the same terrifying nightmares. And one afternoon, Eikichi came home and found his sister's old drawings just scattered all over his floor, with the Okiku doll lying right in the middle of them.
But then came the first thing they just couldn't ignore. As Eikichi went to put the doll back on its shelf, he noticed something was wrong. Its hair, which had always been cut to the neck, was now down past its shoulders. And it wasn't just longer, it looked different. It had a brownish tint to it and split ends. It looked like real human hair.
So the mother, probably trying to convince herself it's all in her head, right? She grabs a pair of scissors and she trims the doll's hair, cutting it right back to its original length. It was just a simple act, an attempt to make things feel normal again. But it turned out to be the biggest mistake they could have possibly made.
That exact night, she has this absolutely terrifying nightmare. She dreams of Kikuko, who's crying and furious that they cut her doll's hair, and then her daughter's face in the dream just twists into this look of pure rage. The mother's eyes fly open and she screams because sitting right there on her chest, staring down at her, was the Okiku doll.
Okay, so after that, any hope of this being a coincidence, it was gone. Just gone. The family was living in a constant state of fear, and they absolutely knew they had to get that doll out of their house. They were at their wits' end, absolutely desperate. So one day, the father just takes the doll, walks out to a field not too far away, digs a deep hole, and buries it. He came home, and you can just imagine the relief, hoping that their nightmare was finally over. So, was that the end of it?
I think we all know the answer to that, don't we? Whatever was attached to that doll was not about to be gotten rid of that easily.
Later that same night, a violent banging just shakes their front door. It sounded like something was trying to break right through it. The father, terrified, finally gets up the courage to open the door, and his blood must have run cold. Because sitting there on the doorstep, covered in dirt from being buried, was the Okiku doll. It had come back.
And this is where it all comes to a head. The absolute peak of the terror. As they're just staring at it in shock, the doll's hair starts growing, like super fast, right in front of them. Strands shot out like whips, wrapping around the father's neck, choking him. He falls to the floor, gasping for air. His wife and Ikichi are pulling, fighting, but the hair is like steel. They can't break it. And just as the father's about to lose consciousness, Ikichi screams his sister's name, Kikuko. In that instant, the doll went completely limp. The hair just fell away.
So now they know. They can't destroy it, they can't bury it. They are completely and utterly trapped. And their terrifying ordeal was nowhere near over.
20 years. Can you even imagine? For 20 years, the Suzuki family lived with this thing. Every single time they tried to get rid of the doll, it came back. And the activity, the haunting, it would just get worse, especially around the anniversary of Kikuko's birthday.
Finally, after 2 long decades of this constant fear, they found someone who might be able to help. They went to the monks at the Manyenji Buddhist temple and told them the entire story. And the monks, they actually agreed to take the doll, hoping that their rituals and spiritual protection could contain whatever dark energy was inside it.
And here's the truly wild part. The doll is still there, at that temple, today. And the weirdness hasn't stopped. Its hair apparently continues to grow, and the monks have to trim it every so often. But what's even creepier is that over the years, its mouth, which was once closed, has slowly started to open. And some visitors even claim you can see what look like tiny, human-like teeth starting to grow inside. Yeah, as you can probably guess, taking pictures of it is absolutely forbidden.
And that really leaves us with the big, chilling question at the end of all this. Is the Okiku doll possessed by the restless spirit of a little girl, just clinging to her favorite toy? Or did the family's immense grief and pain somehow open a door for something else, something much older and much more evil, to latch onto that symbol of a brother's love? And that's the question that the Okiku doll still asks us today.